welcome, a warm welcome to the Stanford and Corringham Skills and Sixth Form Centre. I never thought we'll be here talking about this today. And I'm thanking you for coming to join us today to celebrate what we believe, we trust and know will be a wonderful future for this school and for the partnership that this centre is part of. So welcome to the Stanford and Corringham Sixth Form Centre. This centre is hugely symbolic for us. It is symbolic because it is small, but it holds together our great, huge, big ambitions for the young people in Stanford and Corringham. But also because it encapsulates a way of working, a collaborative way of working between the three schools that make up this part of the northeast of Thurrock. And so for us, it's an important building. It tells us what our ambitions are for the future, and it also signposts for us the way that we want to work going forward. The fact that precious capital funding was put to this building at a time of, well, now we know, financial meltdown, to build a centre for skills and for sixth form students in this area of Stanford and Corringham tells you how seriously we here at Thurrock take the raising of aspirations and the raising of achievement and the maintaining of standards of attainment in this small corner of the universe. It tells you that young people matter, their prospects matter, their welfare matter, they're important, they are our future. We think here at the Sixth Form Centre that we're very lucky indeed to have this money spent on us. I heard this morning that the government might do a U-turn on building schools for the future. Well, we hope so. In the meantime, Thurrock was generous with us, and we have this centre to celebrate and open today.
So, very, very welcome to all of you, young people, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great pleasure today for me to be here, because I have been associated with this school for a long, long time. I was just telling Dr. Song, the first time I came in 1974. Most of you perhaps weren't there before. But this was at that time was one of the best schools in Thurrock. And I'm very, very pleased that I, in this capacity as a mayor of the borough, I had the pleasure to come here today and meet all of you. And as Dr. Song said, this is a great achievement, not only for this school, but the whole area, that we are having a sixth form college here. We always wanted to raise the aspirations of our young people and inspire them to achieve higher in their lives. We all One, two, three. No? Open. Oops.
At the moment we've got Mrs. Summerhays in the classroom. Currently she's teaching Year 12 Health and Social Care, and this is the BTEC Level 3 Extended Diploma in Health and Social Care, which is the equivalent to 3 A levels. So if we just want to go in, she's just in mid-speed.
Okay, so for example, unfortunately, people might be in divorce proceedings and things like that. A lot of the time, they need to do it through solicitors and so on to kind of act as a mediator for both of them, because they can't solve that conflict by themselves. Okay? So is everyone very, very clear so far on conflict resolution and the methods? Okay? What I would like you to do now, if I can ask you guys, there's your laptop, you're going to be doing I'm a Celebrity, get me out of here. You guys are going to be doing Big Brother. And what I want you to do is pick out a clip that you best think represents conflict, and also jot down on your whiteboards how you think the media has portrayed it. Do you think they've portrayed that conflict positively? Do you think they've portrayed it negatively? And obviously we'll feedback, and I'm going to give you about 10 minutes, okay? The time starts now. You can't go over 10 minutes, you've got lots to do. Off you go.
The course that they're actually doing is all coursework based, and this course actually takes place over a 2-year period. So instead of having an AS and an A2, they do the whole course over the 2 years, and at the end of the 2 years, when an A2 course would have finished, they get their diploma level. Okay. Class, there's a Year 13 Business Studies class. And what they do is, this, the business studies subject will actually provide the students with a broad understanding of current business practices. So they're learning things that they can actually take into the business world if they would like to go into it. And the AS level contains, it consists of 2 mandatory units, an introduction to business and business functions. And the Year 13s that are in there at the minute, they're doing 1 mandatory unit and 1 optional unit. And the mandatory unit's strategic management and the optional unit is marketing. And all these units are assessed by an examination. So it's not like your health and social care class, which is coursework based. This is actually exams they have to sit at the end of the years.
This would largely support our economy.
Okay, Spencer?
I'm a member of the European Parliament representing UKIP. 2 quick facts about the EU that is some of the reasons that we want to pull out of it. £50 million per day is spent by the UK to stay in Europe, to prop other countries up where their economies start failing, and to cover European budgets for projects. The second key fact, as Anya mentioned about freedom of workers, there were 239,000 immigrants from the EU coming into the UK in 2011. We don't have any control over who comes through the border. As long as they've not got a criminal record that's bad, they're allowed it. This is a problem for us. I don't know really who we're letting in.
Thank you. Jack?
Yeah, I'm James Dyson. I'm sure many of you have got a Dyson. And basically, there's 54 billionaires as of 2009 living in the UK. And between us, I'm one of them, between us we've paid a total of 14.7 million in income tax. And personally, I contributed £9 million to that. And it angers me a little bit that people aren't being very patriotic and they're not putting their fair share in. That's what I mean.
Thank you. And finally, Tom.
I'm the operations manager from NISA, and I feel the being in the EU is vital for us being one of the most, the most efficient UK car manufacturer in UK at the moment. We have the most cars made per person out of everyone in the UK who builds cars, and that's places like Ford, we're better than everyone you can think of. And in Sunderland, where our main plant is, we have over 5,000 workers, which is and that's maybe tripled in like suppliers. So we are helping the economy in Sunderland and the UK more than anyone else.
Basic construction skills, they do developing brickworking skills, paint finishing skills, blockwork skills and plastering skills. And this course consists of a set of assignments and online assessments. There are no practical exams. Unlike health and social care, this is done over the 2-year period as well. So, what are they doing today?
Well, we are on our workshop so it's going to take a bit of time, but we'll get there. I expect all of you have tried it on. Some has been successful, sometimes it hasn't. But what they're finding out this morning is, by mentioning it, it's not always going to work because there's a pattern match to doing it. I've explained it to them. They're going to find out now why.
Right in my head.
Sometimes it doesn't work. So I need to visually look at it and make sure the pattern's match. Hence some of them are a bit shorter. But we learned that trial and error this time.
An IMI Level 1 certificate in light vehicle maintenance. And these are for people, this is for people who's interested in learning about the maintenance of motor vehicles and the various roles in the retail motor industry. And there are different aspects. So you've got health and safety practices in vehicle maintenance, tools, equipment and materials for vehicle maintenance, spark ignition engine systems, engine liquid cooling and lubrication systems, and basic vehicle valeting. Now the 3 cars in here that you can see, they were all donated by members of staff or the public, which I think I should do mine because mine needs a bit looking over. But if you'd like to talk to some of the students and what they're doing, some of them are quite heavily into their vehicles. But if you'd like to just feel free. It's very exciting. You have your own workshop now. You don't have to share other people with
No,
other people.
that's very good.
And they will study towards the BTEC Level 1 Award in Diploma in Engineering and also the Level 2 Extended Certificate in Engineering. The students that you can see today, you're all Year 11 students, aren't you?
Yeah.
And you're doing...
Resistant materials.
Oh, resistant materials, okay. GCSE resistant materials. And we have a very special machine for us.
We've got two special machines. This one's not operating at the moment. This is a computer-controlled lathe. We can design on the computer and it will just make it for us. But what's going on over here is this is called a 3D printer, which is for rapid prototyping, and it can make your design, which you would do on a 3D package, and it will make it for you. So it's making one of these at the moment. And it's literally just squirting a very fine line of plastic, which is environmentally friendly plastic, like cornstarch, and it can make a whistle, and it's even got the little P and shine. So you can do lots of tricks with it, and of course you can make anything. Any image that you can get in there in 3D that you can convert to the files that understands, which is actually most things now. So it's a total advance, and not just doing things up nuts and bolts that will actually fit together.
At the moment, it's a Year 12 class doing AS History, and I have a little quote here. History is simply a good story, the story of the changing people and places. That's a quote to start off the morning.
Yes, but for vast numbers, that wasn't the case. They actually thought we'd been resettled.
It wasn't advertised and come here, it's great.
Well, think back. Have you got Nazi propaganda to suggest such a thing? Right. Did you actually see these model death camps, or model concentration camps? Okay, so yeah, it was very much there. Taking it all in. Good morning, everybody. By the way, you are in it's a history lesson, and we are doing well. These good people will tell you what we're doing. One would hope. What are we doing? at your own pace.
We're doing Nazi Germany. Yeah.
Gosh. In particular.
At the minute, we're studying the Holocaust and the death camps and the liberation of the death camps.
Yeah. We're trying to work out today the level of resistance. Why so many Jews went almost blindly to their fates. So we've been deciphering the level of resistance that seemed to exist. We're going to try and reach some sound conclusions at the end of it. Hopefully. Right, what I want you to do, I want you to go to the second cluster of sheets. Now it's to do with liberation.
Classes and with our women's health and social care classes. We have very strong links with Anglo-Ruskin University, and so obviously the buildings and the materials they've got there, they obviously lend over to us, and students will actually go and visit them and work on site and do work experience there with some of the people. So that's good.
Courses to learn how to interact with the students and different things that they can do with them to help development.
So what sort of courses did she tell you about?
There was one to do with the visually impaired children, and looking at lights and how the feels because their other senses get higher. So it's looking at how their touch can become stronger and their hearing and that, and it was just looking at things like that.
So they went on courses for students that had visual impairments.
Yeah.
Any other courses? Because this will relate quite nicely into Beacon Hill and Treetops as well.
When I was at Treetops, they did they have to test how, when you first work there, they have to test how compatible you are with certain children, because some children have one-to-one. So they need to see whether you have the skills and stuff to work with a certain child.
And how do you think they do that?
So they give you the child for with someone observing you, obviously, for a little while, and then if they think that you could do that, then they let you have the child. So
So they let you work alongside the child. And that links back to earlier when we were talking about competencies, okay? So looking at your own individual skills and how to progress. Any other training courses related to their sector?
Someone that I spoke to did an extra degree.
Okay.
So they didn't specialise in the nursing area that they had to do, so they had to go to, they worked with Anglo-Vascular University, went there and did a degree in cardiovascular.
And that's a perfect example of CPD, isn't it? So making sure that the individual is
portfolio holder, days like this must be very, very special.
I think days like this just fill you with a sense of pride at the education community in Thurrock. I mean, to see what the head teacher here, Safina, has done and her team, absolutely magnificent launch for the new Sixth Form Skills Centre, and to see some of the facilities that young people in Stanford and Corringham are going to be treated to, I think it's an absolute delight. I think it's one of those moments we can be really proud of local schools working together with the authority to deliver facilities that are going to be absolutely fantastic for the future.
And it's a fascinating array, having done the tour, it's a fascinating array, isn't it? Subject and taught here.
It is, to see, you know, plumbing and wallpaper hanging in one part of the building, a 3D printer in another part, and engineering facilities. It's going to be a really great 21st century facility for young people in Thurrock. State-of-the-art facility, state-of-the-art building, and I think it's something we can all be very, very proud of.
It's very focused as well. I mean, the references to Anglia Rusty and the partnerships there. It's not that, for some people who may be educated in the 70s, there's no drift, it's on task, isn't it?
It is. Look, I mean, I think what's great about the team here is they've got a very singular focus in terms of their aspirations for young people, where they want to get to with facilities here, and I think how we go about moving that forward. So I think it's exactly what we need in Thurrock, that determination to move education forward, to deliver results, and to deliver a fantastic standard of education for our young people.
So this is what you call a 3D printer?
That is 3D printer.
Right. So how long before we get in our living rooms and our offices?
Actually, you could have one today. Well, no,
but
in a couple of
cost?
days. Because you can buy it for about £500. And you've got that piece, some of the bits, and it will actually make the bits for you to put it together.
Oh my goodness. It's a bit Star Trek.
Serious hobby. You can actually make your own.
It's a bit scary almost.
It is.
Because you then think, oh, what's the next development?
We're on Star Trek. All the Star Trek things coming to life.
The Christmas baubles you can make. Lovely.
They are fantastic.
So
how long does that take to make
this is probably about an hour. What's it actually like this? It's a plastic with PLA.
Good morning everyone, Mr Mayor, Dr Assong, ladies and gentlemen. Well, what a fantastic morning, and I'm sorry I was late. It's been quite an adventure to get here, but I was not going to miss it. And I'm really grateful for you sharing today with me. Is this on? Can you hear me? Yeah. Fine. I'm just blown away by this building, aren't you? And it's just fantastic to have this kind of facilities. And if you think about how fantastic it is, but all the money, the time and the effort that's been spent on it, it's all been done for just one reason. And that's because you're worth it. Because you're going to make the best of it. And it's because you should have, as students here, and staff working here as well, the best possible resources, because that's the way that schools can get the best out of you. and achieve as much as you possibly can. And I always think the school's duty to its students is to make sure that you do your best and give you the best in order to do that. But you, in turn, as students, then have a responsibility to your school to make the most of it. You have to take advantage of all the support you're given. These fantastic facilities. I wish I'd had these when I was at school, and that make you do as well as you possibly can. Now, your school, your parents, your teachers, your friends and family, they're all going to say to you, you've got to work really hard at school, pass your exams, you've got to work hard and do the best you can, get your best marks you can. And they're really right to say that to you. But I'm not one of your teachers, and I'm not a parent, so I'm going to say something slightly different to you today. Because in each and every one of you, there is something very, very special. There's something different that sets you apart from anybody else. Now, some of you will be very lucky and you'll know exactly what that is now. But some of you won't know yet. I didn't know until I was in my 30s what I could do and what I wanted to do. So you will find, you'll get the skills here at school to find out what you're going to do in life and what it's going to be that makes you different, that makes you stand out, that makes you special. Now, there's somebody in this room today who could be a scientist, who's going to discover something different that will make a difference and combat climate change. There could be somebody in this room now, we've seen this fantastic jazz band. There could be somebody to make a career singing and playing music, they're so fantastic at it. There could be somebody who's an inspirational teacher. There could be somebody who's a devoted parent or carer, a talented doctor, somebody's best friend you could ever have. But all of you have got something different and something very special about you. And the challenge, and the hard part, is to find out what that is. And for those of you, perhaps some of the singers here today, it's easy. You know what your talent is, you know what you're going to be good at. But for the rest of you, you have to get outside your comfort zone sometimes and do those things that are a little bit harder, a little bit more difficult, things that aren't easy and make it comfortable for you. You have to take on some challenges and do things that are harder and more difficult. Because no one is born knowing what it is that makes you special. No one knows from day one what it is they can be good at. And I was trying to think of some examples yesterday when I was thinking what to say to you today of people who did something special but no one would have expected them to do it. I come to you today as somebody who's been a Member of Parliament, a Member of the Government, a Member of the House of Lords and a Baroness. And I grew up in a council estate in Pitsea. Nobody expected me to be doing the things that I'm doing today. And just think back to the Olympics and Paralympics and think how we cheered on those athletes. None of them were born knowing they could be great athletes. Do you really think Lewis Smith, who I think is a fantastic gymnast, not bad on Strictly Come Dancing either, he's a talented singer, but he knew he wanted to be a gymnast. He had ADHD, probably drove his mother mad, but he knew he wanted to be a gymnast. And he became well, he's the leader, isn't he, the captain of the men's gymnastics team, won the first team medal for the UK in over 100 years. And how did he do that? By just sheer hard work. And the other person I always think about, who I'm a great admirer of, is Ellie Simmons, the young swimmer in the Paralympics. What do you think they said when Ellie was born? Oh, there's somebody who's going to be a great Olympian. She's going to smash world records, have the whole country cheer her on. They probably said, she won't amount to much, she's very small, isn't she? No one knew how great she was going to be or what was going to be special in her. And we all just think how we all cheered on how much we loved to see her win. If you think locally, the person who always inspired me was Danny Crates. Some of you know Danny Crates.
He came to our school last month.
Oh, you've seen him? Is he wonderful? Danny was a really talented rugby player. He was born in Orsett. He was going places. He's travelling the world playing rugby. At 19, he's in an accident. He loses an arm. Now, what did people say? Well, Danny thought, first of all, he'd be the world's greatest one-armed rugby player. He went on from there. But no one said, oh, what's going to happen now? He's going to be a great Paralympian. He's going to be commentating on the London Olympic Games. They probably thought his career was ended, but he wasn't going to do that. He knew there was something special in him that would continue and drive him to be great. And I just finished on a story that Nigel told me of a pupil at his school. I don't know if you remember this one, Nigel. And she wasn't very academic. She didn't get good marks. I think people struggled in her family. What is she good at? But she was one of the nicest kids you could meet. And everybody wanted to be her friend because she was so good to other people. And what a talent it is to have that. So what I'm saying to you is your time here in school, they're doing their best for you and providing facilities like this. The other thing I notice here is your teachers like you. It's really, they like each other and they like you and they enjoy working with you. And they're doing that so you can find out what's special about you. So it's not just doing your best, it's reaching out and finding things special, whether it's singing, whether it's dancing, whether it's academic, science, maths, car mechanics down there, if I can have a word with them later, please. I have little problems from time to time. But there's something in you that makes you special, and please do your best to find out what it is, because everyone here is going to back you to the hilt. So thank you for inviting me today. I love this building. I want to come back.
You will.
I will. And enjoy using the building and enjoy your own successes from it. Thank you.